Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are enjoying your day off. Okay, so we are going to do our reading assignment together today, our story. So, what you need to do is you need to click on Tuesday, February 16th. And here are your instructions. Obviously, we're not having live instruction anymore, so that'll be changed. But we are reading our story for the day or for the week, which is A Recipe for Disaster. And as I told you last week, this is actually a graphic novel, which I know a lot of you guys really love. The Captain Underpants books and the Dogman books, those are graphic novels. And graphic novels tell a story using pictures and speech bubbles. And so I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in a minute. Okay, it's kind of like in a comic strip format. So it's lots of fun. And so that's the kind of story that we're reading today. And so here is how you access it. There is a link at the bottom of your assignment for today. So if you scroll down, we have a recipe for disaster, and you'll click that. You're going to hit log in. You're going to click I'm a student. And then your password is Monteith. Okay, and sign in. And here we go. Okay, so it tells us a little bit about our author. It says it's a fiction story. It gives us an introduction. How can Liz choose just one delicious dish to sum up who she is? So what we're going to do is when we read it, we'll click presentation view. Okay, so let's just go ahead and look at it. Let's do our book walk like we normally do. Okay, here we go. So this is a graphic novel, guys. So each one of these squares that has a picture is called a panel. Okay, so these two pages have, let's count how many panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 panels on these two pages. And the author is really having to do a lot of planning to plan out this story because they have to know how many panels they're going to draw, what their pictures are going to be, and what speech bubbles they're going to use in order to tell their story effectively so you actually understand what's happening in the story. So let's see here. It looks like she's sitting in a classroom. She looks kind of sad. She still looks upset. Then looks like she's going home, talking to her parents. And then here it says Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it looks like 3 days past there. And then it looks like she says, I've got it. She looks happy. And then at the end, she's got some kind of food. So I don't know exactly what this story is going to be about, but we can make some predictions based on that. We can make some inferences, okay? And an inference is a guess based on the evidence that you have. So we'll talk about that. But that is the story, okay? It's not very long. So let's go over some things together. We are going to go down here to the vocabulary slideshow. Okay, so some of the vocabulary words that we're going to see in this story are cultures. Okay, cultures are ways of life, customs, and traditions. So we have an American culture here. We have certain holidays that we, celebrate, like Easter and Christmas and Halloween and 4th of July. We're the only people who celebrate the 4th of July because that's America's Independence Day. So no other country is going to celebrate that except us. Okay, there's also other cultures, like the picture that you see is the Scottish culture. Scotland, remember we read about Scotland a couple of weeks ago with the legend of the lake monster. They have a culture there where the men, they play, what are those? Bagpipes. That's what they're playing. And they wear kilts. It looks like a skirt, but it's really not. And that was kind of their wartime dress that they would wear. And so it's part of their culture. And most of them have red hair and they have a certain accent. Okay. So that's their culture. There's also, the Chinese culture where they eat certain foods. They have different holidays than we do. It's just everywhere around the world, you're going to find different ways of life, customs, and traditions, different cultures. Okay, the next one is represents. So a smiley face represents what? It represents that you're happy. If you're smiling, that usually represents that you're happy. That serves as an example of you being happy. Let's see here. The McDonald's sign, the big yellow M, that represents the restaurant of McDonald's. The Panthers, the panther symbol or, animal represents Union County. If you're wearing a Panther shirt, then someone should be able to look at you and see that you are from Union County. It serves as an example of that. Okay. Heritage. Everyone has a different heritage. Okay. That's important traditions that are part of your family or country. Okay. So your family may have a heritage that is different than mine. Maybe you have Native Americans in your heritage. Maybe some of your ancestors were Native Americans and you guys still celebrate that. Maybe some of your ancestors were from Germany or India or Mexico or just anywhere different. Or maybe you just have an American heritage. Okay. But it's important traditions that are part of your family or country. Okay. And even like it can be things like just something you guys celebrate that other families maybe don't celebrate. Maybe, you every time you go to the beach, 1 or 2 nights you go out and you search for crabs in the sand. Maybe other families don't do that. Maybe only your family does. That's part of your heritage. Okay. We talked a lot about generations because we've talked about folk tales that get passed down from generation to generation. And a generation is a group of people in a family born and living at the same time. So, like grandmas, moms, daughters, okay, grandpas, fathers, sons. All right. Okay, and that is it. There's a few more vocabulary words besides those, but you'll have a chance to practice those whenever you get on to Spelling City. Okay, so are you guys ready to listen to the story? All right, now again, this is a graphic novel. Okay, it has panels. It shows the story through pictures. So listen to me. You are going to have to do a lot of inferencing. Okay, maybe we should back it up and watch a video about inferencing. Okay, inferencing means looking at these pictures, okay, and making a good guess about how she's feeling and what's going on based on her face, based on her actions. See how she's throwing her hand up down here. You really have to pay close attention to the pictures and the speech bubbles to understand what's happening in the story. So lots of inferencing, okay? So let's actually go ahead and watch the video on inferencing so that we fully understand what it is.
What is an inference? An inference is something you figure out by putting clues together and making a guess based on those clues. Did you know that you're making inferences all day long? You might not even realize it. Let's say it's almost your birthday, and you've been begging your mom for a dog, but you're sure you're not going to get one. Bummer. Then something falls out of your mom's purse. You pick it up and read it. It's a shopping list for things like tennis balls, water bowl, leash. Woohoo! and you realize you are getting a dog for your birthday. That was an inference. Your mom didn't tell you that you're getting a dog. Instead, you took the evidence that you could see, a shopping list with dog-related items on it. Then you added that to what you knew. You've been begging for a dog. No one in your family plays tennis, or drinks water from a bowl, or walks on a leash. You put those things together to draw a conclusion. You inferred that your mom had finally caved and was about to give you the best present of your life. Here's another example. Since you're a dog owner now, what if you found your dog in your room, on your bed, with your half-eaten math book, and a very guilty look on her face? What do you think happened here? What do you already know about the situation? You know that your dog really likes to chew on books. You know that you left your math book on your desk. So, if you combine what you know with what you see, which is your evidence, you can infer that your dog saw her chance, snatched your book from your desk, and chewed it to pieces on your bed. Can you be absolutely sure that's what happened? Not 100%. After all, an inference is a guess, but it's the best guess you can make with the information you have. It's like you can see part of a drawing, and you have to fill in the rest. Making inferences helps you understand people and situations better. But making inferences isn't just for real life, or for bad dogs. You also make inferences when you read, using clues in the text. Writers don't always tell you everything. They want you to figure out some things on your own. Let's read this passage together. Hector had a huge grin on his face. He listened to the crashing of the waves and wiggled his toes in the sand. He put his half-eaten sandwich down on the towel next to him. Hector slipped on his sunglasses and closed his eyes.
So where do you think he's at?
It was the moment the hungry seagulls had been waiting for.
And what do you think is going to happen next?
What can you infer about Hector from the first line?
Okay, so if he had a huge grin on his face,
he's happy, right?
He's happy.
But the author didn't say, Hector is happy. You had to figure that out. And what are the clues that tell you where Hector is? There are crashing waves and toes wiggling in sand. Hector is on the beach. But does the writer say that? Nope, you inferred it. What about the last line? What does that tell you about what might happen next? You can't say for sure, but it seems like Hector's beach day is about to get a little less relaxing.
Oh my.
Now, what can you infer about this video? You guessed it. It's over. Bye.
Okay, so that is inferencing. So as we're reading this, you are going to have to do a lot of inferencing. You have to do that with graphic novels to try to figure out what's going on. Okay, all right, so enough of me talking. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, a recipe for disaster. And it says, how can Liz choose just one delicious dish to sum up who she is? So it starts down here. And obviously who's talking? It looks like the teacher is, okay? So you follow it just like you're reading a book from left to right. Okay, everyone, Monday is our back to school party, and we're going to celebrate all the wonderful cultures in this class. So remember to bring in a dish that represents your heritage, your favorite family specialty. So if I told you guys to do that, you would have to go and think about what food is like kind of, your family's food. What is it that they always take to church, or they always take to a family get together, or they always cook at Thanksgiving or Christmas, okay? So maybe it's, like my mom makes really good stuffing at Thanksgiving, and that's her thing, and no one else ever makes it because hers is so good. Okay, so that's probably what she would choose. So it looks like the class is all going to have to bring something in from their family heritage, some kind of food. Okay, so here on this panel, we've got Liz. And does she look happy? Nope. So you hear all these comments. Yep, I'm making kimchi and barbecue beef. Wait till you taste my dad's jerk chicken. I'm bringing in my grandma's borscht. I'm bringing in soda bread. Bet it's not as good as my mom's cornbread. Yakitori. Is Liz saying all those things? No. If you look at these little marks down here, that's kind of letting you know that that's coming from all around her. All of these comments are coming from people around her, and she's just sitting there listening. Just like when the teacher was talking here, see, the speech bubble came out of her mouth, and then it connected to these other bubbles. So you know she was talking the whole time. Okay? So later that day, it looks like this girl says, "Cheer up, Liz, it's no big deal." And Liz says, "But it is a big deal, Naomi. My mom is Chinese American and my dad is Mexican American. They're both amazing cooks." So that's Liz talking. So her mom is Chinese and her dad is Mexican. Okay. And they both cook really good things. And as you guys know, you've been to the Chinese restaurant, to the Mexican restaurant. Those are very different things. And so Naomi says, "So?" And Liz says, "If I can only pick one type of food, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt the other one's feelings. Their recipes have been in their families for generations." So what is she worried about? She's worried about hurting her parents' feelings, okay? So she is dreading having to choose between one of her mom's recipes and one of her dad's recipes, and feels like no matter what she does, she's going to hurt one of their feelings. That would be a tough situation to be in, wouldn't it, guys? I mean, you guys love your parents. I know that you don't want to hurt their feelings. So you can imagine how Liz feels. And making inferences, we can look at her face and see how she feels. She's not happy. And then Naomi says, "Just tell them how you feel, Liz. Maybe they'll even help you decide." "Yeah, maybe you're right. Thanks." And so the setting has changed. She was at school and now she's at home. And it says, "Later that night with mom and dad." And that's my problem. That's not a problem. It's a blessing to have two amazing family traditions to choose from. Besides, you've always loved your mother's wontons, so you should make those. So who's talking there? If it says you've always loved your mother's wontons. Yeah, her father is. Now, why do you think it says ... and that's my problem? When you see a ... that means she's been talking for a while. And it's just not going to tell us everything she said. So obviously she has told them her whole problem and shared with them her whole dilemma. And instead of making us read that again, the author chose to just say ... and that's my problem. Okay, so she's shared her whole problem with her mom and dad. And her dad is totally fine with it, right? Do you think she's surprised by his reaction? I think so, because she was dreading it. She was afraid it was going to hurt his feelings or his mom's. And then her mom says, "Yes, but we love your father's family recipes too. Burritos, empanadas." See, that's what I mean. How can I only choose one? So she's still struggling here. And her dad says, "Well, whatever you decide, we'll both be ready to help you. But please pick your mother's wontons. Your father's right. We're a team, but you really should choose one of his recipes." So even though they're being really nice, is this making it any easier on her? No, because one's saying, "Oh, just choose your mother's stuff." And then the mom's saying, "Oh, just choose your dad's stuff." So they're not helping her make a decision. Okay, so Liz says, "They were too understanding. That didn't help me at all. In fact, it made it worse. What am I going to do?" So she is really stressing about this decision. Look at her face. She's frustrated. She's worried. And then let's look down here. It says Friday night, Saturday, Sunday morning. Does she look like a happy camper? Friday night, she's laying in her bed and her face looks what? Yeah, worried, sad, upset. Saturday, she's playing a soccer game. Is she having fun? No, look at her face. She looks miserable. And then Sunday morning, what's she doing? She's laying upside down on her couch, looking stressed out. So how many days have passed? 3. Okay, so let's see what happens. And then finally, Sunday afternoon, she says, I've got it. I wonder what her idea is. Mom, Dad, I have an idea and I'd like you both to help. Both of us? But I thought you could only make one dish. But we are going to make one dish. Well, sort of. And then it says later, our daughter's a genius. This is so much fun. I wonder what she came up with. What in the world? And then it says Monday, hey, Liz, which one did you choose? I didn't choose. Instead, we created a whole new dish. Try one. These are so good. What do you call them? And she says burritons. So what do you think she did? Because the dad wanted her to choose wontons, and the mom wanted her to choose the burritos. So she says burritons. I think maybe she mixed burritos and wontons and mixed those recipes together and made something totally new that represented both her mom and her dad's heritage, which was a great idea. So did she solve her problem? Yeah, she did a great job solving her problem. It took her a while, and it worried her and kind of stressed her out. But then once she thought of a solution, it was a great solution. Okay, so this is a graphic novel. Do you like them, or do you like regular stories where you just have writing and a few pictures on the side? I don't know. That's up to you. It's something different. It's something interesting, to have different panels that you're reading. Let's see how many panels are on these 2 pages. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there can be lots of panels in a story. Okay, and so this is really interesting, how the author told the story through pictures and speech bubbles. He didn't have a narrator giving you any background information. He didn't tell you the setting. You had to figure that out from the pictures. So it's a really cool type of fiction. And actually, tomorrow and the next day, you guys are going to be writing your own graphic novel. So be prepared for that. That's going to be lots of fun. But go ahead and be brainstorming and thinking ideas of what you would like your graphic novel to be about. Okay? It could be about anything you like as long as it's school appropriate, but you are going to have to think of what pictures you'll use and what speech bubbles so that the reader understands what's happening. So that will be lots and lots of fun. Okay, so your only other assignment today, besides watching this video and listening to the story, is to go on Spelling City and complete the vocabulary activities for today. And let me make sure there's nothing else we need to cover. There is this really cool quiz on here. It doesn't give you a grade or anything. It's just fun. That if you want to do it, it would be lots of fun. It says, what's the main ingredient in borscht? I have no idea. Maybe I'll guess onions, Oh, it's actually beets, see? And then you can't make burritos for lunch if you're out of tortillas. I do know that one. Okay, so you could take that little quiz and just learn more about different foods from all over the world and different foods from other cultures. And you might learn something. You might even find a recipe that you want to try. Okay, so that would be lots of fun. But that is it for today. The last part of my video is I'm going to tell you a joke, and you need to remember this joke, because tomorrow, the people who can tell me this joke, that means you watch this video all the way through, and I might have a little ticket or something for you, but you cannot tell other kids what the joke is if they didn't watch the video, okay? Are you ready? Okay, here's my joke. Why did the teddy bear say no to dessert? Because she was stuffed. Get it? A teddy bear stuffed. So it said no to dessert. I thought it was pretty funny. So if you've watched this video all the way through, you remember that joke and be ready to tell me tomorrow, but don't you tell anybody else, okay? All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll talk about graphic novels more, okay?